I'll keep going till my speakers can't blow. I'll keep going till my speakers can't blow. I'll keep going till my speakers can't blow. I'll keep going till my till my speakers can't. I'll keep going till my speakers can't blow. 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 Till my speaker calm. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blow. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blow. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blow. I'll keep going till my speaker calm blow.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these restless nights, all these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of A to Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll Lex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brothers since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I could light the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like.
Damn, guys, we almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
ESL presents.
Damn, guys, we almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, HL, and Kidia.
At the ESL Challenger League, we continue on with the second European Cup to find out the second European representative in the regional finals in the race for Pro League Season 23. I'm T-Time, joined by Michael, Yumi, Cassidy, as we are going to be heading forward into the lower bracket this time around. Yesterday we saw Fnatic being knocked down to that lower bracket, and now we've got Fnatic going up against ESC Gaming, Michael.
Yeah, ESC Gaming, a squad that many will be familiar with if they're keeping track of the tier 2 space, especially, and they're a team that have actually been doing quite well as of late. You know, I think this year has been beneficial for them, and I think especially with the emergence of some of the smaller lands coming back into the circuit as well, it's giving an opportunity for ESC to take a couple more steps closer to being in position where, maybe not for this major cycle, but could be something that is deeply considered for the next cycle, should this 5 actually be able to continue sort of plugging away at it as well.
And if you can take a look out to the lower bracket, we've currently also got 9 versus Hotu going on at the same time. That's not going to be on an ESL stream, so you can check that out on the community stream if you'd like to take a look at that. And the upper bracket, we are now trying to find out who our first grand finalist will be. It'll be a Lions versus BC game later on in this week to figure out who can take grand final spot number 1. BC game has had an incredible run. They're actually the team that knocked down ESC Gaming to the lower bracket. I won't lie to you, Michael. I know these players, but I haven't really seen them play together very much underneath this ESC banner. My God, have they been tearing up online and, you know, generally tier 3, tier 2.5?
Yeah, they've leveled up as of late, and it has come due to a lot of the sort of plugging away at online tournaments, and they've been able to go to at least one LAN event with this version of the 5-man roster. And I think a player I want to draw some importance to, and the player to watch, our Kidia player to watch, is Reiko, who's not necessarily a new player on the scene, had a lot of his career under the Honoris banner, darted to Anonymo, Sprout for a little bit, was in that Revenant project for a little while, has kind of been darting around the block for the past year, actually. But since he's landed on this ESC roster, it does feel like I'm starting to see the fruits of his labor, because I think over those, you know, this 3 to 4 year period, he's actually been fairly solid in his positions. It's just his team has not necessarily had the pieces necessary to scale up against some of these harder opponents. And right now it feels like those pieces are here for ESC. They're getting a lot of contributions from the squad in its entirety, and a large in part with Reiko being this sort of entry aggressive piece that they're utilizing very often on T sides.
Yeah, it's weird to see a team where I look at all 5 of the players and I'm like, okay, I mean, maybe outside of Bajmi, I've seen all of you play for quite a while now. Your average age is around 24 years old, and somehow you've come together and you're clicking, and you've got the most absurd win rates on basically every single map as well. I mean, we're going to talk about the veto pretty soon, but the idea that a team can have across 21 maps of play a 95% win rate on Nuke, that's really promising.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and it's become a reliable thing that they've had within their vetoes. Even if coming into this game, they actually won't be able to rely on it going into their veto, because as much as they love Nuke, Fnatic permaban it, so they'll be likely forced into a direction. I thought they might end up into an Inferno, because it's typically Nuke or Inferno, but they opt for an Ancient for themselves, with Fnatic taking an overpass with Mirage being our decider instead.
Well, they're spoiled for choice, and again, I don't really give too much credence out to HLTV percentages, obviously, because at this level, generally, a lot of those games might be versus teams that are just worse than you, but sometimes the numbers are so absurd that you have to pay attention to them. 95% on Nuke, 92% on Ancient, 89% on Inferno. Michael, they just have choices on choices about what to pick first.
Well, yeah, that can also be the problem, is that recognizing your weaknesses on your map pool actually might be difficult when you're beating down so hard on your opponents.
It's true. Of course, last time these guys had a loss was up against BC Game in the upper bracket. That is how they've been brought down to this lower bracket. In the meanwhile, ESC have been having a very different trajectory to Fnatic, because conversation around them has largely been, hey, they're winning some of these online tournaments that have come up, some of these 50k cups and whatnot as well. They're actually taking first place, which, you know, you look at teams like a Bait, like a Passion UA, all of these teams that do so generally do end up leveling up pretty substantially and trying to break into the tier 2 scene. Fnatic, however, very different conversation around them, and we know it can be a little bit doom and gloom. They're trying to turn it back in their favor, though.
Yeah, I mean, everyone is trying to rely on new in-game leaders, essentially. I mean, even with someone like Olymp, who didn't necessarily have the most storied career within the Polish circuit and was a part of the, you know, the Paloma, Rebels, Permita, those types of teams that people will recognize, but those were never the premium organizations within the Polish scene. You weren't looking at like your Agos, Anonymous, Illuminars. He didn't very frequently get those chances. Here with ESC, he gets a chance to work with some of these pieces that have been quite explosive, and he is using them fairly effectively, and he's, you know, running almost, it does feel like simple openers and simple game plans, but it's allowing this team to actually surge as a pack. And I think it's been a big reason as to why ESC have been successful as of late.
And Fnatic, I mean, what we saw from them in the upper bracket versus Alliance makes you think that, hey, maybe a good IGL could still crack them open. We're going to have to wait to find out, though. We're going to go to a short break. When we're back, it'll be time for Ancient. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
This is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick.
Into Ancient we go. It is Fnatic fighting back, and, you know, just as I was sort of finishing up the point there, we saw Fnatic knocked down by Alliance in that upper bracket final, Michael. That was really, it felt like Alliance was just completely outcalling Fnatic. That's something they have to address going into Ancient. That's something they have to address. They are now at the edge of their life in this lower bracket.
Yeah, I mean, they'll still have other games along their path to potentially making the major, but having hiccups when you are looking for solid runway could be a big mistake, something they could regret, and it will be regrets all aplenty here for Crims, taking that fight from Donut. Loses his life on the A-bomb site, which ESC get a plant and a man advantage.
The Smoke's still got plenty of time on it as well. In the meanwhile, the double donut setup is going to be hard to play with when you don't have anyone going into Temple. The only place to sort of navigate is in from CT. Moonwalk and Company, you've got 3 players covering this off for ESC. Bajmi's taking second contact. Olymp finds one as well in the meanwhile, but they're losing numbers. Cypher and Fair put them to bed, and you're back to a 2 versus 2. The time is the problem, though, and that's too much of a problem. Jambo will have to get himself out of there and look for maybe even consolation cash, which is not much consolation at all.
Yeah, Jambo might get kills, but no round will follow. Nice simple strategy here for ESC, just barreling out to that A-bomb site. Crim's trying to take the fight, and when he loses his life, Fnatic were always going to be that step behind. So, simple does it. And I do think simple solutions and, you know, coming up with ideas is something that I do expect to be demonstrated, and I think it's something that you actually raised with me during our tiny break, is this idea that ESC can be very active, and they love to go for some of these cute ideas. So we may have to wait to see on their CT side, but
it's a from fake out on B, Michael, in the meanwhile, speaking of cute ideas.
And it's working. These 2 players that are caught and rotate to that CT spawn area to B were in positions where they could address the A-bomb site. And so with them displaced, it becomes simple pickings. But Jambo and Blame have both found the kills they need, and Blame's still kicking in Donut.
Simple pickings, not so simple after all. It feels like they've instead littered their food on the ground. 2 versus 5 in an unlikely place. Samey at the very least is able to accelerate initially. The flashbang is good. Bajmi still recovers in time to pick up a kill of his own. Samey does the same, so we're back to a 1v2. It's doable. They don't have kits, they don't have smokes, but they do have some clean hitters. Fair gets a critical kill, and a Fnatic fight back.
Yeah, definitely a cute idea, but they were hoping that they could actually wrangle with Blame F. They Molotoved him out, they forced him out into the open, and he still comes away with a double kill. And that's precisely the problem a lot of teams will encounter facing a team like Fnatic. You have to be reliable in your trading, you have to be good in your spacing. These players that Fnatic have are of a caliber where you give them too much room or too much space, and they can come in with the multi-kills. And I think that's a big part of the win conditions that we saw outlined versus Alliance, who were still able to navigate out of some pretty dire waters at times. The Fnatic still got away with star rounds. They're going to need moments like that. Cypher cannot perform against the Pistols. It is run straight up ramp, but ESC get their place inside of the bomb site for that plant. They cannot fully punch in those digits. Still, 2 kills. A real threat at getting that bomb down. It could have certainly been worse.
Right, so I might just be blind. How did they kill the planter?
They spammed him. I believe he...
Right, okay.
...tried to plant for an exposed long.
Right, fair enough, okay. I got confused for a second there. Well...
I think that was the case, at least.
That should be. Well, either way, I am... Look, I'm also going to just remind everyone that as much as ESC Gaming are going for a lot of these, cuter plays early on and whatnot, Fnatic have individual firepower and star power, right? So in a lot of these late round situations, if they just leave one player on a bomb site, if that player is just able to do his magic on the CT side especially, you are going to have a lot more difficulties getting these Q plays to work, even if you are theoretically accomplishing your objectives. There should be somewhat of a difference in player caliber, but maybe there won't be. We're going to have to wait to find out after a quick break. We've got a tech timeout. We're going to try and get that fixed. It might be very close save. There you go. Oh, we're back. We're gone. We're back again. That plug can't figure itself out.
And now it's broken again. So we will be back after a short break. Don't go anywhere, folks.
The plug! It is back in, Michael. We have a timer again.
Lovely. We were so back, and then we weren't, and then we're so back now, again.
Sounds like Fnatic.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Tied it all back together. ESC, in the meanwhile, though, are going to be faced with some aggression down middle from Fnatic. It's going to be predominantly B lane that they're looking to control right now. Deep Molotov, and Reiko is not stopping. He's got no brakes in his car. And he is just breaking them apart instead.
And that had to have been communicated. Cypher took contact. They knew that ledge was open, and they were so dedicated to fighting the player at elbow that they disregard Reiko, who is barreling straight at them. That's the impact you want to see out of him if you're hoping for a tight game here. I think Olip's gun was spotted inside of Red Room, so Jambo knows he might have the advantage, but yeah, a little shadow that Olymp can see gives him a heads up to that fight. And so that 4-on-3 made 4-on-2. This will be a save for Fnatic.
Yeah, we were not impressed with the Fnatic comms in the upper bracket either, if I'm being honest. And maybe this is more excusable, right? There's less time. It's early on in the round. There's obviously a lot being said as well. But also, it's really critical information.
Yeah, I mean, I would stand by. I mean, Cypher is nothing else to say at that point other than they can be Heaven. There was a guy, Heaven. they heard shots fired, Heaven. Even if you communicate, there's still audio cues from other players as well.
There could, I mean, he could have been saying, "Man, I lost it, dude." Oh, there, you know.
Definitely not what he would have done. It's just strange to see that the players didn't react. Not at least one of them. You know, that's sometimes the awkward situation you find yourself in as a mid player is when you are two fighting mid floor like this. You know, one could be pulled away from what is supposed to be a double swing to elbow, and that's where your sort of quote unquote reliable opener becomes detached and you effectively have two 1v1s. But that wasn't the case there. Fnatic just simply hoped it wouldn't be a problem. And lo and behold, Reiko was a problem.
Might end up being a pretty consistent one at that. So one of the interesting things, again, I will be very transparent to the viewers. I've only watched a couple of demos for ESC for recently. I've not really been able to closely follow their journey very much, so especially outside of the ESL Challenger League. Where the interesting thing is, everyone on this team is like a 1.13 rated player, basically. There's some deviation, but yeah, not very often that you see a team like this with such an even spread as well. You can see how Olymp is putting himself in lurking positions where he could find more successes than IGL as well, right? Like these are clearly players who are playing to their strengths in many ways.
Yeah, and I think it's also a testament to what they get up to in quite a lot of these games as well. They play a very pack-heavy, very trade-focused, you know, very much execute-heavy as well. And while Reiko can be sometimes a bit of an X-factor, not to be in this case. Cypher down to 1 HP, but he gets away with his kill and his life, only to get spammed from behind.
And Crims are going for a very good timing on the push. Now, this is going to be putting a lot of pressure on the Red Room players if they're able to reveal it in time, and BlameF can lock down Olymp and Moonwalk as well. So now those two players coming in from behind are going to instead be re-delivered back to B. Jambo with a gun picked up, and he won't even need it. Crims is right there with him as well. 3 rounds on the board now for Fnatic.
Yeah, action met by counter action. Good opening kill there for Cypher. Even if he only barely survives by the skin of his teeth, even if he gets traded, you know, Fnatic were choosing to be active after Cypher had taken that contact, and in doing so, that they're kind of able to address that space that ESC were hoping to leverage in some way via middle. 3 mid start, but it's a fast A play from ESC that nobody will be within earshot to address. Nobody on Fnatic is even reacting either. Those 2 smokes that were deployed to both Red Room and Elbow, they just barely get back to Donut in time and manage out with favorable trades, but BlameF hounded down on the exchange, and so it's back to 3-on-3, only for Fear to answer again, but Sammy can block this off with the smoke. It's back to 2-on-2.
And it really all comes down to Bajma and Jambo. When Jambo falls down, Fair no longer really has the chance in this round. He's had a great first half already. Even though it is early days, he's been very critical for some of these retakes, and he's looking for one more of those. The smoke is down in front of the bomb, but his HP is going to be the real problem. Fair reveals that he's not on it. Sammy could even look to push through. He is just going to end up sacrificing his life to make sure that Fair will also be dying. Now, I have to say, BlameF has been doing a fantastic job playing in from Donut, just stopping some of these really aggressive moves from ESC, but they didn't stop aggressing is the funny part. Just keep going.
It's also just curious. I mean, they start 3 mid, and there's, you know, a couple of flashes, a smoke. There's reason for Fnatic to be concerned, but there wasn't a lot of punch behind that, and even still, they were hesitant to rescind their position in middle, and by the time they do, ESC already kind of have access to the site, and they're already taking fights deep donut. Just a little slow on the uptick. There wasn't necessarily a tell, but it could have been something that they read into. This is a full A execute now from ESC, but bomb is positioned outside of B instead.
Brim is good for the one. Olymp is down, and Sammy pushes through the smoke. He's able to use the edge of it. All in the meanwhile, Fnatic realize they've been bamboozled. Back to the B bomb side they'll go, and it might be too late. Fair already has a flame separating him from his opponents. Now, turns out, well, he could be sandwiched.
Yeah, I mean,
not before the bomb is planted.
Hell of a call, because this is a round where Fnatic will not have been coming in with ideal resources. I think this is a great way to leverage that utility and sort of weaponry advantage, is when there's a big execute, 3 smoke execute on that A bomb site, where because of the long trajectories of the A smokes, it's actually hard to read if it is even just one person throwing the util, because the timings can be very skewed and very delayed. ESC just make use of all this presence on that A bomb site. They get the entry they want, but then as they're doing that, they also work that B slope, but they only needed the 1 kill. This is, again, another instance where, you know, Fnatic are going up against an underdog team that aren't in the same position as them in the VRS. They don't have the same aspirations, but Fnatic are also in the spot where teams below them in these types of wins can serve to spoil their chances. And I think,
it's like these ugly stepsisters have a glow up and steal Cinderella's prince from her.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the idea that Fnatic, I think 3 days ago, there was like a post that Mischief or Finn put out from the UK scene that has a percentage chance of all these teams making their spots in the major. And Fnatic 3 days ago, 62%. But, you know, I'd imagine in that projection as well is also the teams below them that they're expected to beat, they beat.
How the odds should work, but right now Moonwalk could prove to be a problem. Fair, however, has been adept at dealing with those so far. The one gun they'd saved, or rather they'd purchased going into this round, is paying off massively. 2 kills already found. The ROI on this bad boy is fantastic. He's going to be able to go for more here. Fair is going to sacrifice one of his teammates should Sammy push forward, but in the meanwhile, he's going to be using Cypher's death to find the 3rd kill. The bomb yet to be planted. There's guns littered on the floor, so if you start to fade away, even if you get out of there, which is no guarantee because Fair is still ripping you to shreds, 4 kills to his name, could be 5, but now Sammy has to equal that number if he wants to win, and want as he might, he cannot. That is all Fair. 13 and 5 on the man. Give him a medal.
Yeah, that's insane. I was not expecting that level of production from him. There was 1 rifle, USPs aplenty, and Fear has killed near everyone. 13 and 5. The in-game leader. The least talked about piece in terms of raw impact and kills. Doing the most.
Good spam timing from Fear as well. He is dialed in. This is the man in control of the Matrix. Even if he will end up falling to it eventually. Olymp on the switch. What's going on, buddy? You're in the bomb site. Maybe not expecting there to be a player in Cheetah when Fair is pushing out that way, but we'll have to be suspicious. 2 versus 2 at least with Sammy's equalization. Crims comes in from behind. Bomb is now on the ground. In all of this chaos, ESC have completely lost their chances of winning the round.
Yeah, it's the bomb as well. So, I mean, Crims played his position. He understands that Moonwalk will have to come to him, and with such low health on Moonwalk, the chances of winning this clutch are very slim. Well, yeah, don't think he's going to give this an honest try, really.
Yeah.
If the smoke had stayed up, he, I imagine, would have tried to give it a shot, but wait, he's just chosen to reposition. He actually is giving this a go. They're still
deadly at the end, Michael.
They're hyper fixated.
If they think that he's saving, he has a real chance over here, but Blame F. Oh, money them up! This is going to be disaster! Moonwalk comes in from the side, the smoothest criminal you've ever seen!
How have they let that happen? How have they let that happen?
Blame even considers a reposition, but he's considered it wrong.
I think the absurdity of it is, if exposed to both is the real issue. But they did. I can't. I suppose, and you're right. You know, they did think it was a save. They knew he was low, most likely. Communicated over. They heard the reload. They knew where he was last positioned, but it is staggering that there wasn't even a consideration. It's a heartbreaking round to lose, because Fnatic do a lot right there. ESC shouldn't be getting away with moments like that. That's not how things typically play out. Fnatic are the ones that maybe will get away with some nonsense, but I'm loving what we're seeing from ESC. They're toying with ideas. They're giving it a shot. Hell, Sammy with some of the kills he's getting back, even in these deficits, have been quite explosive as well.
Cypher 7 is trained into the angle. He's generally very good with the weapon. You see it right here and now. Sammy switches back to the AK. Olymp, in the meanwhile, still lurking out in middle, up to his own shenanigans, but Blame is quick to put him down. Moonwalk, the hero of the last round, the king of pop, is going to be left alone, and this time with a lot less flexibility, even if he still manages to hit a couple of hee-hees. To open up the smoke, Blame F will take his time, swing out right as it's about to close again, and get the visibility he needs.
Yeah, great job from Cypher. Those two kills. ESC wanted to sort of creep and crawl their way into the B bomb site, make a contact bursting type play, and they get immediately shut out. You know, Cypher slams the door in their face, and that door is named the 5-7. So an outrageous round from Moonwalk, the round gone by, but just like that, with a pretty scrappy economy, Fnatic has still been able to pull through the weeds.
Well, that's a good start to the round for Jambo. Not an opportunity for more. Not really much to force him off the angle outside of that one flashbang. The bomb's being planted. Crims is not going to let it go down. Opportunity for Jambo. He almost gets punished for it.
Oh, and Cypher's crept out towards spawn. This is going to be impossible to cover if they want to try and get a plant in, because they know Jambo is still active inside of Donut, but if they deal with him, suddenly they could feel a little safer. There's still fear that sits behind him. Incendiary will section him off slightly, and that bomb has made its way back to A main. Steps being made, though, as Olymp's toying with the idea of rotating off, but Fnatic will be aware that there's still likely a player somewhere on A.
Yeah, but Olymp's just trying to give fake calls. So if Fnatic start to hunt out for this one player, this could just be walking into death. Bajmi turns, but he doesn't expose himself. Not for another few seconds. Cypher should have just gotten the round there and then.
But they're still split. It all comes on timing.
Olymp's so low. As long as Cypher doesn't move, it's fine. But Cypher is prone to moving. He's looking away, so is Olymp. 6 for Fnatic.
Ult pick backed up by Cypher at the end as well, so ultimately good, well done from Cypher finding those 2 kills at the end, because, I mean, ESC are making these rounds far from comfortable, and I actually love that they are exploring the entirety of the clock. You know, I think they caught me off even in that Moonwalk clutch, and even just some of the rounds where they're pausing, freezing, and really allowing the round to sort of breathe in these moments, because you can see what it's doing to Fnatic. They're splitting up very frequently. They don't feel as comfortable or as confident losing pace. Yeah, there's a paranoia that comes with it.
Well, Jambo's paranoia might be making him a little bit flickier. He's hitting shots like it's nobody's business, already taking down 2, and the bomb with it. Jambo even checks his temple just in case. He's making up for lost time, but he's also losing time. It's 7-5. Fnatic will take that last round of the half. They find a slim advantage as they move into the second. We'll be back to see if they can close after the break. Couple of magical moments from Fear and Jambo towards the end of things to allow Fnatic that 7th round ESC was making things incredibly hairy.
Yeah, always had them guessing, always had them worried, but still didn't manage to come away with an advantage moving into the second half. So this CT side will have to show all those bells and whistles, and it starts off well. Sammy, an instant headshot, Moonwalk contributing as well, while BlameF has found a trade back at the very least, but only between Crimson and Cypher that remain. They do break into the bomb site. The flash is very effective. With Olymp playing close to the smoke, they have their guard raised. Cypher with a 3-piece to put Fnatic in winning ways.
Really awkward brawly fights coming out onto the bomb site, even in the first round of the day. I wonder if this is going to be a team ESC Gaming would certainly like to hope that it can get to that. I'll say that much for sure.
Yeah. They had the numbers on that B bomb site. They wanted to take fights, clearly. It's
another interesting thing for this side that from all of their rifles, I think Olymp is the only one who doesn't have like a pretty substantial CT side rating increase. And maybe you can see why with the way he plays on T side. It's very resource heavy.
Oh, well, this is going to be awkward. They're going to catch the player throwing util, and suddenly they realize they have to be filtered into this solo 5-7, but it gets nothing. It could have been worse.
I'm glad that Fnatic realizes there's going to be multiple players coming in from behind, not just the one stray lurker.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing, that's the one tell or tendency I've noticed from ESC, and briefly skimming through their games. I'm in a similar position to you where I've not watched tons of ESC. There's other teams that are close to that VRS cusp that are, worth watching, but this is one for the future for sure. But they are very pack dependent on T and CT. And so where there's one, expect many.
Ooh. No fair, might not have expected this much damage to be coming out his way. Because not only going to find the kill with the HE, he's also going to be able to peek through and down into middle, see that there's no one there, allow his team to reaggress, and now they hold on to lane. A double push forward could find Cypher in an incredibly exposed position. Bajmi is certainly suspicious, and now with a hip spotted, Cypher jumps up. It's a Jack in the box, only British. I don't know what a British name would be. Typically, I don't know, Bob in a box? I don't know.
That sounds more American than anything else. Jack is a pretty British name. They're going to need a jack of all trades to show up. Or maybe a master of at least one trade. Because so far they have found 0 in this round. Jambo trying to get this plant on the A-bomb site. Moonwalk running through the smoke to cancel it. But that only serves to thin the gap between these two sides. And they just barrel out of Temple. A bit haphazard. Jambo answers with 2 out of nowhere, and Reiko round the smoke. It's Jambo left in the clutch, and he'll finish the job. 4 for Jambo as ESC pull the pin. A 5-on-3 that they squander.
I mean, the amount of timings going their way on Fnatic is... It's so funny because... So first of all, Moonwalk pushes the smoke. And maybe it's intentional, but he basically tries to push the smoke of the bomb on timing, but he also has a teammate throwing a flash from middle, which is why he hesitates a little bit. So he pushes in afterwards regardless before the flashes pop. So Jambo doesn't get blind, but he also gets time to pull out his Galil. After that, he gets to swing and fight in because even though the smoke has been blown up in Donut, his teammates have just thrown a fresh smoke, so there's like 1 second less of smoke break because of that. So Jambo doesn't have to worry about anyone behind him, so that temple swing becomes mitigated because of that as well. And in the end, it's just a 1v1, but like, man, Jambo, fantastic set of kills, but it really was a bit of manifestation going on.
Yeah, some fortunate timings perhaps going their way, especially in the util department.
Well, we've got an unfortunate time for this tech timeout as ESC will be sitting down to think about what went wrong. We are going to let you do the same. We're going to be back in just a few seconds. Don't go anywhere.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it all up. How much more can I take? Out here singing to the heavens. When I gonna get my break? I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. Oh. I can run this town.
Jambo's got a watch in his hand, and it's not just because of his timing, it's because his teammate Smarty just gifted him a watch for that fantastic quad kill save. We went into pause soon afterwards, but ESC Gaming are now having that incredibly high win rate on Ancient threatened. Fnatic up 10-5 with ESC on bad buys.
Also a slow control type of round here for Fnatic. There will be nothing that ESC put forward in the opening segment. Typically when you see players on this type of buy, be an encouragement to play more aggressive or more forward, but they've opted for an A-sided stack instead. Double HE does a lot of damage onto Moonwalk, but it's quiet. Maybe too quiet. Fnatic have their guard raised, and they're still yet to really pull the pin on either side of the map.
If they start to go out towards the A-bomb site, you still have yourself a double boost setup waiting for you. That could be incredibly deadly. Could be the full mowdown with player number 2, who is hidden away. It's supposed to be the bait, but no, Olymp peeks in early and Crims is ready. Reiko takes a whole lot of damage for that kill that he finds, and it won't be more than the one. Crims triples up in the meanwhile, putting himself in a slightly more cushy spot on the scoreboard.
Kill on Cypher is huge, but with Fear and Crims both finding the remaining presence from ESC, it'll be an 11th round here for Fnatic. Attempted a force buy, the stack in the right place, still doesn't pull through here for the Poles. And they find themselves at a pretty significant deficit. They'll even kind of be put in this position where, yeah, I think there's a good argument that you kind of need one of these 2 buys to pull through and give you a chance back in the map.
4 players on the B-bomb side this time over. They have rejigged the stack, but only on the different prong of the map. Olymp will find success, and so does Bajmi. Somehow the flashes are working in his favor.
Everybody was blind. I mean, Bajmi was blind, Cypher was blind. These SMGs just able to recover that slight bit faster and are far better at being mobile.
Well, that's not great. Olymp does end up going down for a grenade that he walks back onto, but Crimson Jambo will find themselves victims of vengeance very quickly. Vengeance! Vengeance?
Uh-oh.
Vengeance!
That could have been weird for Raiko. But it's no problem. 6th round here for ESC, and it's off of some of that aggression that, you know, could have been encouraged in a previous force. This time it does pull through. Fnatic maybe didn't expect that they'd go in with another buy, because you saw how cautious they were playing the previous force buy.
Yeah.
This time they wanted to be a bit more aggressive themselves, only to be met by those SMGs in their face.
Well, now we look out towards finding out whether there are more CT side shenanigans that are being planned out with the AK-47 in Reiko's hands. I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to put that to use. Olymp's actually had a bit of a stinker of a game in Moonwalk right now, who is pushing forward to allow for a fast boost for him. He's going to try and enable his IGL one more time. Flashes overhead, out and about. Cypher just as blind as Olymp is, but slightly less healthy. He's not been having his vitamins.
Yeah, gets spammed, and Olymp actually could have finished off the job. Caught a glimpse of him above that smoke, but unable to wrangle the kill. The Fnatic side are wandering into this A-bomb site. It's taking them some time to actually pull the trigger on it, and it's actually given enough of a window where ESC can react. Kill from Fear could have been big as well. That's an advantage here for the Polish squad, as they have decent positions to segment off the retake, and they've got their hands on that bomb. So Fnatic may have the site, but they lack the package.
Cypher coming in from behind could still manage to be a silent assassin. Unfortunately for him, Samy's watching out for any sort of shenanigans that could come true. And don't make any mistake about this. This looks like a 3v5. You've seen those work in the past. I don't think this one is going to be even theoretically possible.
This would be an outrageous round to lose if you're ESC. You'd have to really try, I think. Fnatic will try their best to make it uncomfortable, but it's just unlikely to be enough time to make this round work. They'd have to win off eliminations. And I think Fnatic themselves have realized that if even one player escapes them, they lose. So they will decide to save instead.
Yeah, the let's not die after time response needs to start kicking in soon, and it will. CT, however, are just going to be content with upgrading to AKs. That is generally a pretty good thing to have.
Of the assertive nature of ESC in this round, though, I mean, they don't exactly get a fast boost onto ledge and lane, but they do show that extra presence there. They're willing to get aggressive, jump on the pallet, make use of the fact that there are smokes down. They're attempting to dislodge any control that Fnatic have over B lane. And even if it was only Cypher in that round, they succeed. Back-to-back moments where that lane pressure has resulted in a round win for ESC.
Time on the incendiary is very good from Sammy. He's going to be allowing Olem to start making his way back over, but that's also one of the last pieces of utility they actually have, an HE that's probably never going to see the light of day. As the swarm has begun, Olem good for one. The flash from Moonwalk could not be better. One flash to rule them all. One flash to blind them.
That's beautiful work from Sammy. The utility that he throws, the incendiary into the flash so that he can have these extra seconds where he can peel off and get to Temple. Sure, his teammate is the one that takes all the attention, but by repositioning in this way, he makes it incredibly difficult for Fnatic to get any space whatsoever. And you're right, you know, this Moonwalk flash is kind of the real MVP. It makes every fight that much easier, but Samy's timings, you were right to highlight it, were on point.
Now you see Galox, and those Galox are getting the hell out of here. Quick couple of kills too for Fnatic isn't bad, to be frank, especially if you can... No, okay, never mind. There's still 3 AKs available, and the CT economy is flush with cash. They're not going for the op. I like it.
Yeah. This is, I mean, for people that won't have followed Sammy, you know, when the Sangal core ended up becoming heroic, you know, LNZ, Youngster, that crew, Sammy was with them on that rise and was kind of cast aside in favor of Sampaius. And, you know, it's tough shoes to fill. Sampaius, by all accounts, will be a better fit, but Sammy's been doing a great job on this squad. And in the rifling, he's never really been a deficit, but that is a problem. Moonwalk running out of bullets over at elbow, and just Reiko can't wrangle the spray, but Olymp, the spam is on point. He'll have to fight back from a deficit. Still a winnable circumstances. Fnatic don't have a foothold anywhere outside of middle now. Olymp out in the middle of nowhere, but Sammy has let them pass. The bomb is not with these two members, however, but they turn around. Knives drawn, Cypher down to 9 HP, and neither member of Fnatic now healthy. They tuck tail and try and run this foot race to A.
They can't win it. They cannot win the race, and Cypher might realize that soon, but he can't feel comfortable making a play. Sammy's going to be in position to interrupt that bomb, but Jambo does the only thing they could have, take a fight. Fnatic find 12 off the back of some good entries, but more importantly, a good finisher.
Yeah, that's, I mean, this looked like this should have been ESC's round. Nobody could kill these players at elbow, and, you know, there were 2 honest, solid attempts at it where players simply ran out of bullets, could not hit their shots. Fnatic, I think, are very fortunate to get away with that round.
Yep. Moonwalk. Good kill to start. And this time he's not going to be making any messes with his food. He will fry it. And he will savor it. Sammy, feeling a little bit hungry himself. Jambo's creeping up in from behind. A swing being planned out. Adjustment is good. And Sammy's back in the fray. He's going to end up falling, but he's also buying time and space for Reiko to make a move. Reiko is in. Fair's head. And now it's a 3 versus 1. Jambo not ready for a second staggered player to make his way over. This is going to be right back to rifling ways.
Yeah, it's solid. I mean, the util is doing a lot when Fnatic are trying to pick up the pace in through middle. And you see the resource battle that ESC are engaged with. They know that these opening gambits that Fnatic want to take on their default map control. And ESC, you know, in the opening 10-15 seconds have exhausted 4 smokes. They are expending a lot of their stalling utility, their blocking utility at the very start of the round, and they're coming away with advantages from it. So that gamble that and that resource battle, they're winning it, and this time it's Olip that finds a kill from Red in this desperate attempt to take some mid fights. Fnatic are on pistols in this round, but they're hoping to make it at least slightly threatening.
Likely might be the key word over here. And unfortunately, they haven't achieved that slim hope that they had. It's coming down to the very last round of regulation if Fnatic want to win this out over here. And now it doesn't feel like if you go into overtime, things are going to get any better for them. ESC has just been really kind of running circles around them.
I think it's just, you know, we see a philosophy difference between these two teams. You know, I understand Fnatic are strong individual players and they play very well in isolation, but I think ESC understand, and it's the same thing kind of noted about Alliance. There's a lot more shoulder-to-shoulder play. There's a lot more, you know, plays being made to facilitate one another by these teams that are in underdog positions. They know that that's kind of the win condition. That's how they have to try and beat teams of Fnatic's nature, and it's what makes Counter-Strike a beauty of a game. You know, you can have teams that play so individually or have so much star power, and then you can have others that excel in different areas. And right now, I think so far in this European Cup, this is another demonstration to Fnatic that these teams that are below them in the rankings do have quite a lot of merit to them.
Some of these tech timeouts have been coming at critical times, but at this point, I don't know who this would favor or not. And of course, no one's going to be talking about doing this, but at the same time, you're just sitting and thinking, man, they've been pushing us everywhere. And we think we're ready for it, but sometimes we're not.
Yeah. And it has been the case, you know, even that round where Reiko flanked out the B slope in the 4v2 has been the case where ESC, you know, if somebody's off on an exploration, he's got a buddy with him. They don't like taking long walks alone. They like having a friend to chat to. Well, there's a surprise M249 in CT spawn. Whether or not anyone utilizes this at any point in the round, we'll have to wait and see, but last round of regulation could be the last round of this map if Fnatic are able to close. Will they have crafted any clever solutions, or will ESC be allowed to get away with some of these more aggressive stances? A main, that's where they take the fight, and Crim's already put down to very low health.
Grims has been crippled for the rest of the... They even try to throw flashes for that one. Grims isn't blinded by them, but I appreciate the attempt. 2 flashes go out flying to guarantee them this 5 versus 4, and they are collectivized on the B-bomb side. There's no attention really being given over anywhere else. There's some lonely checkers over in mid, but Bajmi's had his head swept clean off. Moonwalk sloppy on the spray, but not twice. He's able to recover in time to pick up the double, and now Moonwalk has to be careful about Olymp, about BlameF, who was pushing through the smoke. BlameF gets himself another kill. Incendiaries, grenades, the works. Olymp has delivered it all out, and he is looking for the fast rotate. He knows he's put the incendiary on top of the bomb, and BlameF likes to take it slow.
Yeah, he's got so much time on the clock, and Olymp's trying to leverage that to his advantage. He could cut him off. Blamef has got his hands back on that package, but he will be nervous about the approach from Spawn and not this flank, this reposition that Olymp has taken.
I'm getting flashbacks to Moonwalk's clutch. I don't know if Blamef would be as well. But now the bomb is being planted and Blame is still completely oblivious. Olymp and his triple will find them a 12 aside. It's Moonwalk's quick recovery of the spray, which gives them the initial advantage. But man, what a closer from Olymp.
Yeah, and there are some players that would go in for a spray, and when they're in for a penny, they're in for a pound. Moonwalk resetting between those fights actually did just bring this round back into contention, because it looked like it was about to be a very, very windy day for Moonwalk, only for Olymp to seal the deal. A little bit of misdirection, and he outsmarts Blamef. I love it. I get emotionally invested with underdogs. I do, but to see players step up in moments like that, where there's many a reason why you often see it go the other way. There are stories to tell.
That story's not over yet. Is this a last stand via Olymp's quick triple? Or can ESC close? Fnatic would certainly like to beat the big bad wolf that keeps on blowing their house down. It's a 4-on-3 after the initial exchange. Jambo and Cypher Chief, the tank for that.
This is the slowest round I think we've seen Fnatic play in quite some time. Not trying to get ahead of the plan that ESC had predestined for this round. Instead, waited to see what would happen, and they're rewarded for it. Question will be when and whether or not Crims will investigate that A bomb site, because it could turn that 4-on-3 into a 3-on-3 very quickly. But if he doesn't action that, then his teammates could be falling into these two CTs that have this high-low setup on B.
Moonwalk feels like he's the one underneath pressure to make a move. If he goes back to Donut, this 3 coming his way, he's certainly not ready for a multi-kill. Not with Cypher's mover being that good. No! I take it all back. I will eat my words as he'll chomp down on the players of Fnatic. The time is an issue as well. The Molotov will assist, but Olymp is out and about, and maybe that's a bit too far. A spam that could be chanced. Jambo will instead let Crims receive that spam. Bajmi is waiting for a peek that he's convinced will come his way eventually. Oh my god, even while jumping, he gets the kill. Jambo's got a smoke, it won't be helping him. Bajmi needs to be able to bait out the shot. It works initially, and with the smoke already there, if Bajmi can only just find the bomb, he can't. Jambo will save the day with kill number 3.
Oh my goodness, there were so many smokes. There was one close to the boxes in at spawn. There was another one that was near the plant. Another one thrown by Jambo late. I thought that actually could have given him a chance, but the smoke actually wasn't on the bomb, the one that Jambo threw afterwards. He was trying to provide some extra space for Crims to play around. And it's only a sigh of relief, really, for Fnatic that Jambo pulls through on that. Another man advantage and 3vx where ESC bring it so close.
Close isn't enough. Fnatic always knew they'd be fighting into a team that is incredibly well prepared for them, that has done their research and that has a strat book and a half. But right now, Jambo is not just reading, he is rewriting the book of ESC. (27-17). Olymp will respond. Jambo has taken some time to activate into this game, but now that he's here, he is dominant.
Yeah, it's a big head to find, that's for sure. Very bold move there from Olymp, just immediately swung out for the fight from Red, but as he takes attention away, Raiko comes in for a double into mid, and Bajmi is right behind him to trade out Cypher. from an opener for Jambo to a 1-on-3 now offered up to Crims, but Bajmi will deny. 13th round here for ESC. Fnatic are not out of the darkness just yet.
I cannot believe BlameF loses the duel versus Reiko over there. Otherwise, Bajmi, I mean, even if he gets the one more kill, it shouldn't be this automatic round over and done with situation. I mean, that is a very impressive double from Reiko and a great setup inside cave that allows this to still work out for them. But man, Fnatic will feel slightly robbed after that early opener, but it feels like that's been the case quite often. Ooh, Jambo's giving them another one. Pushes out through the smoke, goes for the instant kill. Olymp will do much of the same! What a double. These guys keep on delivering on the sprays, Michael.
Yeah, where you get one, Olymp doubles. There is real troubles here for Fnatic. How has this happened again? From man advantage to deficit, and they may crawl right into the AWP of Sammy. Boost on up is perfectly placed, but the AWP of Jambo does not connect on this shot. And now Jig is up. Bajmi's in T-spawn, cutting off their rotate if they even want to reconsider. Jambo head offered, and they are completely trapped now.
Sammy's primed. You had to get an instant one shot or something like it if you wanted a chance of a hit, but instead Escape will find 14. I mean, the fact that they're getting ahead in these rounds where Jambo's, starting off with these incredibly impressive kills and whatnot as well, it's just ESC always fire back with something even better.
Yeah, and you can understand them picking it into Fnatic. They come in as these underdogs, and they have provided us with this. I mean, just simply the polish of these poles on the map has been great to see, from team play to some of the individual mechanics that we're seeing displayed in these desperate moments. ESC are getting exactly what they need. The conditions are being met to cause a little bit of ruckus in that Fnatic camp here on this first map. Now back into this T side, where Fnatic still managed to be able to get an advantage out of the regulation half. 1-7-5, great kill from Fear, and he was a big reason as to that CT success. He finds an opener.
You have to find this kill onto Fair. Bajmi will deliver. Fair has been a whole lot more quiet after that first half where he went superhuman in so many moments. He's now negative in KD, which isn't the biggest of deals when you consider just his scoreline, but if you could isolate that scoreline second half and beyond, you'd really see a different picture being painted. Still, it's only a 4 versus 4, and with, oh my goodness, Olympiques back into Jambo, that's a bit much.
Yeah, I think he was really angling for misdirection because he was trying to pull them away from this B bomb site, but his lack of success and his teammates that follow up, just unable to control their sprays. Fnatic pull through. I actually kind of appreciate that from Olymp because, Jambo, to be honest, maybe shouldn't have chased after him, but once he recognized that he was, thought he could blindside him. But Jambo actually is probably one of the better AWPers at sort of not getting caught off guard by these crazier peaks. He's very flicky, very sharp. Funnily enough, I actually see Jambo miss more angle holding type plays on that AWP.
You can take the Draken out of Fnatic, but you can't take the something Jambo.
Okay, I didn't know where you were going with that at all. Neither did you, apparently.
Jambo, though, there you go. The angle holding shot. It's not the easiest one when it's the close angle being swung, but Exhibit A has been demonstrated.
Yeah, especially with all the util that was sailing your way. But while they have thrown all this distraction to main, they're creeping through mid to Donut.
Smokes are going to be dissipating right as they get there. They want to get a clear sightline onto Jambo. Hey, 2 versus 1 with the AWPer. Even if he gets one, it won't be possible for another one. Jambo's a bit too good, though. Jambo's a lot too good. He is one-man armying them right now. Eventually he will fall, and Reiko and Sammy remind them that one man will not be an army, but he can be a savior. Fair had clutches aplenty. Even a Hero M4 moment.
He's beat him on the timing.
But Sammy's ready for it. Sammy's watching for it. It will not matter. Fair uses the HP advantage to perfection, and Fnatic find another map point.
Oh my god. I mean, crazy work from Jambo, really. I mean, perfect awareness of what was going on. They knew that Donut was a vulnerability, that these smokes were down there for ESC, but nobody was actually prioritizing getting out. You know, you don't use a 3-smoke execute and have no punch behind it. There were no signals that it was going to be the B bomb site either. And so just kept his wits about him, held that smoke, and as it faded, got gifted these free kills and covered Crims perfectly as well. Triple nade into elbow. Olymp left limping. Reiko, though, hard entry into this B bomb site. And that's the perfect round for a play exactly like it. This 3 committal to mid. Sure, Cypher will retain control of Cave and Cheetah, but ESC have a firm post plan to play where they can take deep CT control and play the bomb from there. They've got a strong perimeter.
They just need to protect it. Leads forward. Flashbang will not stop him at all. But Sammy's good on the trade. And as long as you can keep that trade going, that man advantage will eventually pay off. Cypher threatening inside the smoke, and he will be able to complete on that threat, not just once, but twice, but so does Moonwalk. These sprays from ESC, the double kills that they keep on getting in critical rounds are nothing short of game-changing.
Yeah, and it's, you know, the entry is really what carves this path here for ESC. They've tried to play on some of these executes. They tried to play on some of these slower paces. They're still going from early map control, but this was a very firm commitment that they were making at a time where Fnatic wanted to prioritize mid, and they find the one weak link. They immediately decimate and get past Jambo so rapidly that Fnatic effectively cannot react. They're hoping to be given more of a window. That's why I had Reiko down as this Kadea player to watch. He can be so explosive. He's had a solid game so far, and just used as one of the tips to the spear of ESC.
1 for 1. Jambo's out of there. And his repositioning might not be the best place to be. Now his angles are becoming a bit more limited. Wants to try and delay the bomb from being planted. Little as he knows, the bomb is progressing, not planting. Even the grenade is just perfectly placed. Bajmi chucked it out like he's Steph Curry from the 3-point line. 2-on-3 though. This isn't impossible for Fnatic, even if the bombardment of utility is certainly making it seem that way. More and more HEs going in to the pockets of the CTs and not the way they want them to be. Archie waits. Kill already having been found. He won't make it 2. It will be Fair who brings it back all the way to a 1 versus 1. Another quad kill. Another clutch. And Fair is right back into the action.
Counter-terrorists win.
They should not pull this off. A 2-on-4 where they make a desperate play through that smoke. Crimson Fear trapped at the back of square. They get past that angle on short. And just by virtue of keeping that pressure applied and trading off one another, even if Crims falls, he was the one that sought to gather information. Fear finishes off the job on 2, and this 1v1, just the rapid headshot. Fear has been a very, very strong piece to this CT side. And he demonstrates more ability to timing looked on here for Fear as well. He'll seek to be active inside of Cheetah, but just as he continues to spam that smoke, Olymp runs at him. And the flash, it's a team flash. Cypher got into the site, but they're going to start barreling through that smoke at ramp, and Reiko can trade things out, no problems.
Well, turns out utility is not just being flubbed once, it's a couple of times. It won't matter, though. The problem is the bomb. You can't cross without crossing into Jambo. It's a dangerous line to take, but Reiko's also a man looking for danger.
What?
He's pushed through the smoke with the help of a flash that leaves Crims alone. A lot of clutches won from this guy yesterday versus Alliance. Maybe even the reason why Fnatic even made it to map number 3, but That's a long time pass, and that was a series that was lost. Crims can't get caught up in his years from before. It's now or never.
They've updated the info with Crims in that spam and where he threw the util. Yeah, they timed themselves a double swing, and they catch Crims on a timing. 16th round, another tying moment here for ESC. And this is all courtesy Olymp, but all this distraction, all the chaos that he sows, even with some of the missed utility here from ESC, they were clearly not prepared to continue rolling in with the tempo that they were, but they realized the opportunity that they had. They find 2 quick kills. They have a smoke on long. If they got the smoke to short, it would have been a pretty set post plant.
Oh no.
This can be the thing with overtime, especially the deeper you get, the more things can unravel. Man. Damage is so good from Fear. Cypher even finished the job. They don't even get a fair gunfight.
Woo, baby, that's what I'm talking about. Jambo's been tearing them apart. He gets a taste of his own medicine.
I've been very impressed with Moonwalk so far this map.
You'd be right to be impressed. Crims, he's been depressed by Moonwalk. In a lot of ways.
If they deep flash Crims' angle, I'm going to maybe lose my mind a bit. I know they're contacting. This could be dangerous. Moonwalk has to clear it proper. He glanced at it, and so nobody else will, but it'll just be one for Crims. No one... I mean, he did not expect maybe as many players to be round that corner. He did not play trigger discipline, and so this access to the A bomb site is granted. 3-on-3.
Bomb's being planted out for a back plant or taking CT. This is not going to be an easy position to defend the bomb from. You are going to have to take a fight versus Cypher eventually. They know it as well. They'd rather take it on their own terms. In the meanwhile, Olymp spots out a hip and he's out of there. He's not a bum man. He is looking to be backing off, but Fear releases the crouch for just a second. Olymp will be able to spot him as well because of it, but Cypher strikes only the once. A flash from the back of the CT spawn, and Bajmi's hoping that Olymp can be enabled, and indeed his hope is correct. First kill found for Olymp, looking in for a little bit more, and now that he's forced Fear off the bomb, he's already won the round. This is fantastic stuff to give ESC their 17th.
They just can't keep on holding on to these flashes. They are setting up for plays off of one another. Olymp was known about. They knew he was inside of Temple. They saw where that bomb was planted for, maybe thought he'd run off and the flashes were there to stall, but no, he gets out and wraps round Blame F, who had to serve as cover. He had to serve to protect the defuse. Yeah, I've been so impressed. Because it is not just muscle, it is not just brawn. There are brains behind these plays. And I think there's just this... It comes across as this inherent trust of one another.
Yeah. Oh, Crimsy! Let's go! Let's get some brawn in this house!
God damn. It was so nonchalant.
Yeah. And what do the kids say? Aura farming. Does kind of give Piccolo vibes, actually. Well, there goes Reiko. And in 3 versus 5, we've seen it work before, but only when Moonwalk can deliver a couple of double kills on the sprays. When he misses his opportunity, Crims will make sure that they're not letting this one go.
Yeah, this is a foot race, but there's so much time on the clock that even if Bajmi is able to somehow slide out into this A bomb site and overpower Crims, it's not like that bomb can't go the other direction. Yeah, one smoke down, a follow-up Molotov that's a little delayed. This will be extra confirmation, especially this refresh on the smoke. Yeah, Bajmi knows. There's exactly 2 players on this A site, but he's unsure about the third. Especially when Blame F's still alive. You know that guy's lurking around somewhere. Oh, okay. That could have been very dangerous. But it works out. Crim's lovely round to pull through. Flashy opener. Also part of this reroute through to elbow. Carve the path to A. And ties the bow on the round as well. Just that seems to be the win condition for Fnatic on their T side is
Quad kills?
Well, to be honest, patience. You know, because it started with the... They got an opener, they paused, they waited for ESC's reaction, they found a following kill via Cypher. So I think it has really just been this slower approach to the T side that's been netting them advantages.
Well... got punched to Cypher, but he's used to it. That's a life of a T-side cheetah player. You ask for patience, Michael, you're getting it. Fnatic have successfully slowed things down to the point where ESC are rotating very early on, and they might be leaning away from that bomb.
An exchange of information between these two. Rico went out swinging and made a step, but there was a counter step by that T side as well. Blame F sending it out towards that mid floor. It's an equalizing kill where Sammy can back away. Crims is trying to creep himself out towards A main, but Olim's there to cover in time, and so that advantage, it has been dealt with. 25 seconds, and Fnatic will have to proceed with a B-side hit.
Well, that B-side hit's looking incredibly difficult with Reiko and Bajmi on the clock. ESC will find their first game point in all of Ancient.
Yeah, I mean, they get exactly what they want from their default. They're cautious, they're spamming close to those smokes, they're not putting themselves in vulnerable positions, but in that mid-round, they go in this collision course to the mid fight that ultimately stumps them. They get picked off, and it's the cue for Crims to creep out, but Olimp also conscious of that. The timing's really working out for ESC to catch them during those transitions.
This he's going to be able to cut them off at the exact same angle where he found success before. Bajmi's doubles keep on impressing. Crims eventually does put him down, but Olymp has gone overlooked. Crims isn't ready at all. Neither seems fair.
They missed the smoke. They missed the short smoke. It landed on top of Cave, so they could not feel safe to plant, and so ESC will take full advantage. Their map pick in the series, it comes to double overtime, but these flounders, these failures from Fnatic to convert on advantages, ESC will be licking their chops that they get this map under their belt.
I mean, what a way to break Fnatic over here as well. You saw individual performances coming out from Jambo, from Fair, even from Crims to the very end. It's unfortunate that two of the players who you would, in an ideal world, look to for firepower in Cypher and Blame F, sure, they had their moments, but not quite the same standout performances. You could see them being rattled at times by what ESC was bringing to the table, and my god, they brought a feast, Michael.
Yeah, there's so many of these teams that are within that tier 2 circuit that can be so proactive and can get in your face. ESC demonstrating how effective that really can be, because Fnatic never felt comfortable. Even in rounds where they had advantages, they almost always ground to a halt. These clutch potential rounds. The Moonwalk 1v2 was, I guess, a great demonstration of just how much respect they were giving ESC in these moments where they had so much time on the clock, and it's still didn't pan out for Fnatic in some of those instances. ESC playing a very stellar Ancient.
I mean, you can't fault them for any one of their individual players. I mean, literally all of them have big step-ups. Belgium was a little bit quieter at the beginning as well, but over there towards overtime, you're seeing those double kills come in. It's fantastic stuff, and the question is, can they continue it on, or will Fnatic be able to fight back? Coming up next, it's going to be Fnatic's map pick of Overpass. We're going to be back with that one after a short break.
I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my speakers come blow. I'll keep going till my till my speaker come. I'll keep going till my speaker come blow. 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 Till my speaker come. I'll keep going till my speaker come blow. I'll keep going till my speaker come blow. I'll keep going till my speaker come blow. I'll keep going till my speaker come blow.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these restless nights, all these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of on my feet when I touch the ground. Front of A to Beijing, man, ain't know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. Life down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll Lex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brothers since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, acting like the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on a better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. What's a life without sacrifice? Sometimes you gotta thank God and just roll the dice. Pacino.
The road to the top is a riddle. What will be my destiny? Money and fame are awaiting, but not enough is raining on me. Maybe I should give it all up. How much more can I take? Out here singing to the heavens. When I gonna get my break? I can run this town. Oh. I can run this town. Oh, I can run this town. is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it.
ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL, and Qiddiya.
Damn, guys, we almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
Well, back into things, it's going to be Overpass Fnatic's map pick after Ancient had them going. Damn, guys, we almost had them. I'm T-Dun. Joining me is Michael, Yumi, Cassidy, as we are going to be heading into map number 2, ESC Gaming up 1 after winning their own out in a epic double overtime.
Yeah, dang man, they almost had them. It was a really, really close game in the end, and it did feel like it was a level of perseverance and a level of, honestly, performance that I don't think even Fnatic were expecting to have to play up against. The proactive nature of ESC, but even in spite of the calls that ESC were coming in with and actually sort of blindsiding Fnatic in a number of these rounds, they also just got a lot of multi-kill potential out of a flurry of different players, whether that was Olymp in some of the mid-rounds, Moonwalk had some great moments, Reiko, Sammy in some of the, it felt like everybody was having a step up in that performance, and it raised the expectations for ESC because I think they smelt that blood in the water and they capitalized on it.
I mean, the thing is also, when we go into Overpass, this is one of the few maps which ESC doesn't have a gajillion reps on, which, they've played it twice, they've won it once, they've lost it once. Their win was against Forza Reload, which, isn't really the best team, if we're being perfectly frank. But they lost to Big as well, which also isn't the best team, so it's kind of concerning. Theoretically, this should be Fnatic's map to lose.
Yeah, no, that does track, that does make sense, and I think that, there's... Weirdly, ESC are not one of the teams that have, I guess, embraced the new maps in the pool, so to speak, and I think it's actually kind of been symptomatic of a lot of different teams in the circuit, where the newer maps, because so many games are so important, I think it actually becomes a little bit harder to sort of justify exploring the less tested maps in your pool in officials. And so, yeah, very, very frequently maps like Train, like Overpass, can sometimes just make it through the 2 rounds of veto and just not end up picked.
Well, let's see if they end up regretting not embracing the new maps in the same way over here or not. Of course, we didn't have an incredible AWPing performance coming out from ESC. Sammy was alright, he had a couple of good moments with the AWP, but he was largely electing to be on rifles, even on the CT side. So that could be a big difference maker. Jambo, no real questions about him pretty much across the map.
Yeah, I would say the only thing for Jambo was that it was fairly feast or famine. If he got his first, he would very frequently end up with a multi-kill, and if he missed it, he would probably be dead. So we'll have to wait to see which one performs more consistently in the map. So CT start here for ESC. Timing looks good as well on this push, but Reiko's not clearing behind him, and as he turns, he finally wrangles with that kill. Crims does find this counter right back onto Olymp, but these 2 players out from party. Sammy activating from the divider as well. Brings it down to a 3-on-1 where Jambo has a number of CTs looking to keep him contained, and they will trade off one another beautifully. crunch towards that party and mid position. ESC pull away with the pistol.
Now, one of the cool things to keep in mind about ESC's style is, as much as I am saying that, hey, they haven't been opping, they are very aggressive on their CT side. I've seen this across now multiple maps. Ancient, obviously, from the previous one. I've seen a couple of their Mirage demos here and there as well. That generally means that on a map like Overpass, you could have a real incredibly good first half over here and just front run from there theoretically, even if you aren't pulling out the ops very often.
Yeah, it's a classic CT side aggressive map. It's why a lot of teams sometimes strayed away from it before it was removed and brought into CS2, is that T-sides have to consider a lot of CT possibilities.
Well, it's a flashbang to help out Samey with the MP9. Reiko's in from behind as well, just trying to make sure they lose as few players as possible. At the end of the day, Samey only finds 1 kill on the SMG. A little bit unfortunate that he can't get it to pay for itself, and there's this many equals on the other side, but saving all 4 M4s was the real priority.
Yeah, set up your SMG. Allow Samey to get his hands on an AWP if he wants it. And move on with the round. They knew they were likely up against either a force buy or a light buy. Even then, you want your SMG being the one that front runs on any CT aggressive move. Until that was a save, so the AKs are out now for Fnatic. And there was the possibility that Sammy could have lent into the ult, but it likely would have meant that he had to go without armor. I don't know that a teammate could have dropped that over to him.
Ooh, that's not pretty. Missed secondary nade, otherwise Olymp would have been given a real tough time there. Flashbang through, and Moonwalk is still up to shenanigans. I mean, ESC is still looking really good with their flashes, and that's concerning if you're a fan of Fnatic. Double swing planned out, the shadows will be spotted. Crimson Cypher will end up losing their lives. They're right back to the double spray down to the CT side. Olymp as well. Slightly sloppy on the spray, but he still recovers. It's fair in a 1-on-4.
Just look at Reiko go. I mean, 7-2 start is something to be noted. And Fear in this 1v3 does have the possibility of routing himself out of trouble. Has a decent amount of time on this clock. Has the bomb on his back. And this is the terrifying thing, and this is a big reason as to why I'm such a big proponent of CT sides having the tendency to be aggressive. Is you see what Fear is having to do to try and clear out a path to this B bomb site. He's being hyper paranoid. If your tendency is to push, you have to care about flanks, forward positions, everything. And then by the time he makes it into the site itself, it's just a simple graffiti play for Bajmi, where he doesn't necessarily need to take the fight, but he goes dink for dink on the site itself. So Fear will get himself into an after plant, but he'll have to try and dodge the nades and make sure they actually don't have space to deploy them.
Olymp's made plenty of noise over here, so Fair is expecting him to start coming over. Olymp holding down the line though, and Fair being as low as he was, receiving that early dink. It was always going to be ESC's win. Still, good damage from Fair in the 1v4, bringing it back to just a 2 is important. Let's not mince our words about it. Fnatic are likely going to be buying up again off the back of that bomb plant, so yeah.
But it's even the small things. Like, you look at what they do there, 2v1, bomb planted, they know that they're late to get to the bomb plant. One gets out to CT, the other one, I think, was going heaven and then routed back to CT audibly, almost to entice Fear into trying to take deeper spot, thinking he had hit the timing. So, you know, I just see small things like that, and it's, you know, they're cute. They don't necessarily always work out for you, but when they do, it just adds an extra dynamic to what they're thinking about, what they're factoring in.
Reiko's getting aggressive once again. Will actually end up being forced back by the flashes of Fnatic, but he's forced out a lot of utility from a team that didn't have much in their pockets to start with. Pockets are lighter, but their shoulders seem heavier for Fnatic. And he's seen what Fair can do with a hero rifle, though. That quad kill on the CT side with an M4. Woo! I want to see more of that.
Yeah. Be a bit all in if it doesn't work out to a 4K. We'll see if he can perform some magic.
Good move from Bajmi. With Crims down, now the pressure is on and the T's will start to cave underneath it. Blame F is pushing forward. He's good for the trade, but that trade isn't good for much. He's left alone, 1 versus 4. AK recovered, and it's a damaged game. And few players who are better than Blame to try and get the exits.
I mean, he'll still be able to buy next round, so he should give this a good old try. Olymp able to duck underneath the spray of Blame F, though. And so ESC will continue to build some cash here on this CT side. 4 rounds straight.
Getting concerning. Cypher's had a difficult start to things, as has the rest of the team, but you do look to him to potentially be the bull who can meet this aggression head on. Would love to see him getting a little bit aggressive and enabled to do so. It's a flashbang out and long to dissuade Reiko, but Reiko doesn't feel dissuaded at all. He's in fact just going to continue putting the pressure on while Olymp does the same back in connector. Crims trying to clear out that connector. Will not be able to find Olymp. The Molotov is good initially, but as he peeks forward, he's able to stutter step in. Olymp pulls his trigger and loses the duel because of it. Reiko now makes his way back down.
Yeah, Crimson barely actually cleared it, but he scared him into action. Oh, it's a good counter kill. Nice play out from Reiko just to make sure that didn't fall out of favor. Moonwalk is still on short, however, so ESC have not rescinded complete control of this B site, and those con players are looking to reinforce.
Haven't cleared this. Jambo will have to do so with the AWP, but with the bomb drop, Reiko's double is going to mean this round is basically over. Cypher, who'd been in playground all this, meanwhile is left in a 1 versus 2 where Bajmi comes in with the knockout punch.
You just can't make this up. You cannot. I mean, they lose their con player. They retake con as a pack. They get out con to short to reinforce B, and they shut the door behind them while they do it. They were not raised on a farm.
They're some well-mannered, well-shooting boys.
I can't believe that they play so much pack-based Counter-Strike in the mid-round, and it's so unconventional. You see how much it's catching Fnatic off so consistently. It's like there's no way they'd leave the B bomb site completely vacant, only play it from short. There's no way they'd play 3 players walking down con to help and support the B bomb site. Surely they'd spread out. No, they're playing shoulder to shoulder. Crazy work.
Oh yeah.
It was when we panned to that Cypher POV and the door was closed that I couldn't contain myself.
There's the little things in life, and right now Reiko's going to be giving us a couple more of the big things as well. A triple kill in the last round, a triple kill over here. Why not?
Well, they're going to need something that they can scream and shout about here on the Fnatic side, because they've had several rounds of disappointment coming away from that Ancient, now moving into this T side where things have fallen very flat for them.
They're keeping 4 players alive again. It's 6-0 up and 10k on about 3 of those players on average.
Yeah, can't exactly scream and shout about this.
Maybe at each other?
Hopefully not either.
I'd believe it, man. Comms haven't always looked the best for Fnatic. God, the instant multi-man commitment afterwards, the B bomb set as well. Reiko continues to check out the same util set. It's a boost up for Sammy. The flashbang doesn't help him though. He was supposed to be peeking out with Bajmi. He'll peek in afterwards instead. Still happy with the 1. Reiko will make them happy with the 2nd. That's a strange flashbang. I don't think that was their intention, but Reiko's intentions are clear. Multi-kill number 3. Yes, please.
It's a touchdown. How many multi-kills can Reiko get? I mean, he's manhandling Fnatic.
Well, he's had 3 in a row. I think he also started off at this round with something like it. So yeah, it's all 3 triples. It's a triple going through from Reiko.
And that's why he was our player to watch.
He's had a multi-kill every single round.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. I mean, you know, getting trades would be cool.
Yeah?
This getting picked to pieces. Okay, I don't know if that was necessary for Olymp. If that was Reiko hard swinging, I'd understand it. Ultra Sami already trained on the angle, and there's that Reiko hard swing.
That's why you understand it.
19 and 5, a 4K for Reiko as Escape, ESC are proving to be too much for Fnatic to handle.
It's an organization with a legacy and maybe another one to be made here and now. The only team that could shut them down in the ESL Challenger Cup, BC Game. And that's a team that had Simple pulling out a 135. They have to win this game. 3 maps, by the way. 3rd map, overtime.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah. And right now, I don't think we're going to go to 3. I don't think we're going to go to overtime. I think the only place we're going to go to is, I don't know, couples counseling for Fnatic or something after a loss like this. Reiko's going to be pushing forward for more. It's another double, and it feels like it's an underperformance with the kind of numbers he normally puts up.
Yeah, and even if they get a kill, they don't get any runway. Olymp shuts that down immediately. Jambo taken down. Bomb still set towards the bathrooms, and they're separated from each other. Crims is going to search for something on B, but those B players pushed the monster tunnel and have started flanking Con. So even if Blame decides to link up with Crims on this B bomb site as they call it vacant, he could be on a collision course with 2 players in his path. Jig is up. But now they know where both players are, and Bajmi kills Blame with the flames.
Counter-terrorists win.
And he'll just tie the bow on the round.
I thought we were getting a map 3, Michael, at the beginning of this.
Yeah, I thought that could be a possibility. Thought that first map may have been a wake-up call, but we talk about Fnatic. We often use the term star power, the only star that seems to shine at the moment. He bears a Polish flag.
And it ain't been Tet.
Yeah.
Moonwalk, by the way, is having a good time. He's dancing in a corner, 2 and 3.
Listen, if you're anybody but Reiko, you've kind of just been vibing.
No.
You've been reacting to what he's been telling you, and you're like, oh, okay, I'll just move in for this kill. I found another one. Okay, teammates trade, cool. And done and dusted. It's been non-dramatic for ESC so far.
Well, Reiko is once again going to be in the line of fire, and turns out the fire's underneath Crims. Jambo will have a chance to trade, and by God, they've done it. They've contained him to just the 1 kill. They've taken a fair bit of damage for it, though. Can Fnatic get on the board?
Yeah, containing him at 1 is a big accomplishment. Right to highlight before that, you have a multi-kill every round. I don't think that stopped until just now. You gotta make use of it. But they're still fairly split. Jambo on his low health is starting to probe into this B bomb site, but the AWP of Sami does spot him. And while Sami does get taken down, Jambo can't actually take the space with it.
Olymp's rotation is going to be well placed, and Bajmi is not too far behind either, so there's still a chance that Fnatic end up going into a fully reinforced bomb site. It's that late play coming in from Jambo that I'm worried about, and right now, maybe no reason to be worried. Blame F will trade, Bajmi comes in to show himself off, the double kill is good, leaves Blame alone. Time to shine, Blame. This is where you're supposed to step up. This is where you're supposed to corral the troops and herald them to a possibility of a future.
But another Blame Olymp 1v1 where Olymp's using that time to reposition.
And Blame's not picked up the bomb yet. He's still looking around for it. He doesn't dare look down on the ground to check where it is. And Olymp will get the better of him yet again. 9-0. You have killed the beast only to find its children still protecting the den.
I mean, there's just more where that came from. It has not been purely a Reiko show. That it's a bit of a fumbling connector, really, from Crims. The Molotov bouncing in a weird way where it didn't actually get all the way up. That Molotov was supposed to actually flush out Reiko's position. Instead, it ended up putting a fire underneath Crims's behind. But Olymp, I love the way that he plays out those clutches. He sees that clock and he just thinks, what was the last thing they knew about where I was? And subverts that expectation. Spam from Moonwalker is right on the money. Blame went to be aggressive. A rare instance, but it will not be rewarded.
God. I think it might be time to throw in the towel. I mean, I hate to say this, Michael. I really do.
Well, if we did that, if everybody did that when they were playing video games, maybe they wouldn't play games like Dark Souls or Hollow Knight.
Sometimes you need to take a break and step away from the PC.
Yeah, but you gotta persevere.
Fnatic have no choice.
They've been resetting to that bonfire a few too many times, it seems like. Most they can squeeze out of this half is 2 rounds.
Look, this is looking like if you give someone like, you know that island builder game, and that's all they play, the one that was really popular on like one of the Nintendos? Animal Crossing, yeah, if you gave someone who's playing Animal Crossing a remote and told them to play Dark Souls instead.
Yeah, you're a little out of your depth.
And right now, Moonwalker is reminding them that he can also be a performer, and not just in the dancing way. 1 and 11 for Cypher as well. I don't even blame him.
Just look at what they're doing. They're disrespecting all the smokes. They're pushing in on timings. They're taking aggressive fights. Reiko is through connector and flanking B. He's in T-spawn, and it's barely been 30 seconds into the round.
Reiko's getting the itch. I haven't gotten a kill yet, guys. Guys, something's wrong. Something's wrong with me.
What do you mean you've got the multi-kill this round? It should have been me.
There's 2 people with multi-kills, and I don't even have the one. Give it to me. At least he'll get the one.
He's gonna kill every round. He's gonna kill every round.
I've only been 2 rounds where he's only had 1 kill, Michael. He's 25 and 7.
I want to play devil's advocate. I tried to, give benefit of the doubt, but I don't know how I save this. An 11-0 scoreline where Reiko has gotten away with bloody murder near every round, and even in the times where you have an advantage. I'm thinking that Jambo kill into the B-bomb site 4-on-3. Even when you have an advantage, things are just discombobulated. M249s are out. Listen, if Fnatic break into this A-bomb site, there are better weapons than what they bring forward on the majority of their players. They have Galils, and ESC have had such a monstrous half that they're just throwing away perfectly good weapons in spawn.
Perfectly good is a funny way of saying it, but yeah.
I was expecting a gap between these teams in this series. Just not this way around.
Fnatic have a chance to find 1 before the turn of the half. But Cypher has a boost on the other side, as well as the player who delivered said boost. Bajmi and company are ready and roaring.
It's just beautiful.
It is An untouched half so far. It is unsullied, and Fnatic hope to smear oil on this painting, but only just a drop. It's a 3 versus 3. Bajmi still yet to be detected on the bomb side, but Fear is creeping past him. Can Bajmi get the adjustment? Of course he can. A triple now for him. He's quietly up to 12 and 3. As much as it's been a Reiko show, it's also been Bajmi on the drums, and he is drumming them home. Fnatic don't have a chance here. It's only going to be Escape who gives them a round. Jambo doesn't even feel like he could take it if he wanted to. 12 and 0. Escape Gaming are on the verge of making this genuinely embarrassing. Can they finish it off with perfection? Let's find out after a break. Look at the score, my friends. That's all I have to say. We're not going to say it, but we are looking to achieve it. Escape Gaming, this Bistro round could be maybe la resistance, the cherry on top of an already sugar-filled cake. Reiko also, and that's a good start to things, but it is at the cost of the B-bomb side being given up, not for free. Cypher delivers on one, and you do have an advantage because of it.
Yeah, this man advantage is going to serve to their benefit, but they'll need to go quick. They'll need to find these kills quite fast. Moonwalk has been a devastating force on this B-bomb site as well. Still Bajmi to consider as they try and lock them down from getting into this site itself, but the kills are coming in quick, and Crims is not having any of it. No 13-0s this time over. No one wins 13 rounds in a row versus Fnatic, not on Crims's watch.
At least not in CS2.
Yeah.
It's happened in CSGO, I will add that. Oh, God.
Well, this could be the start of something beautiful.
And yes, we do mean an Escape Gaming era. Oh, man.
25-9. 25-8 coming into this half, but I think he had, prior to that round, like close to 200 ADR. I think he's still at 190, so...
Well... Oh, that's also the only round where Reiko doesn't get a kill.
Yeah, that...
Yeah.
KSD in shambles.
ESL TV rating 3.0 just downgraded him to 0.8.
Well, he's got the kill here with the
Alright,
Galil.
0.81.
A force buy here for ESC, and they've got the entry they need to take some space at A.
They also have 2 weapons if they want to pick up that Galil that Reiko did drop behind. He switched out for the M4A1. Blame reveals position. Flashes are not the best, but Reiko's able to get 2 kills despite that. That is insane. He even picks up the Mac 10 to push forward even further. You might not 13-0 them, Escape Gaming, but you still found a way to make them look foolish as hell. It's 13-1. Escape will dominate Fnatic. They will boot them the hell out of this tournament, and they will be the first team to move forward in this lower bracket semi-finals.
Yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, the first map was great to watch. I mean, back and forth, there were hero moments on either side. It felt like ESC were the ones that were dictating the flow quite often, but Fnatic still found bailouts on that Ancient. But when we arrive on Overpass, it's a Reiko show. It's a Reiko feast, a frenzy. They could not deal with that man. They could not trade him. And when he was absent, when he didn't get his 1-2 kills a round that we were starting to expect, then came in other pieces. Then you had Bajmi on his multi-kill. It did feel like everything fell into place. A massive deliverance here for the Polish fans.
The insane thing is that I just checked for the other lower bracket games. Well, we are done with 2 maps in the time that 9 versus O2 is still on their first map, and we had double overtime in map number 1. 9 versus O2 currently going into like the 5th or 6th overtime or something like it. So yeah, fun times for Escape Gaming. I will say I don't think Fnatic had very much fun. Normally it's times like this where I sit down and I'm like, hey, you know, this was the piece of the team that lost, that played pretty well actually in that map, and they still had these things that were going good for them, but these were the problems. Michael, they just kind of weren't very good.
Yeah, and I think that is definitely something that was demonstrated. You know, the strategies didn't seem like they were well put together. It was very intermittent where we'd see these flashes. I mean, the real highlight for ESC actually was really just how much rehearsal it looked like they'd done for a lot of these plays. The quick communication, the on-the-fly decision-making, the resources that they were keeping. Even if they were expending most of them in the early round like they were on Ancient, they were always keeping a couple of flashes for options in the late round, and they were using them beautifully. We saw so many moments where a flash changed the swing of a round or the swing of a fight.
Yeah, absolutely. We were just seeing really good stuff, and a lot of that comes down to the fact that Reiko and company felt so comfortable getting aggressive that you don't need to use flashes like that because of it. You know, I mean, I just go back to the round where on Ancient, it's funny that I have to go back to Ancient for this one, but where Crims is in red room and you're saying, hey, if they throw a flash here, I'm going to go insane. And that would have been insane, but also because they didn't throw flashes, it ended up being a better post plan for them as well. In times like this, it's a really fun way to watch them play, but Escape Gaming will still have to wait to see who they'll be going up against. 9 versus O2 is yet to be completed. Escape made very quick work of their opponents.
Yeah, and, you know, to put this into context for viewers at home, we are genuinely talking about and having this conversation about Fnatic and teams of their ilk in their ranking position trying to make the major, vying for a position in the major, where they are going to be playing teams much higher ranked than ESC. But, you know, for them, this is the fact they fall into the lower bracket. They lose to Alliance in a very close series, but they get out-called in the Alliance series as well as this one so substantially. They get out-firepowered most demonstratively on this map on Overpass that Fnatic themselves picked into the series. These are real signs for alarm for Fnatic. They've had the up of making it into that conversation for the major, but they can't capitulate on their path when there are still tougher games ahead of them.
I think the worst part for Fnatic is that now we've seen them lose in two completely different ways. I mean, in the upper bracket to Alliance, it was being outcalled, and sure, Era was maybe able to out-firepower them at a few places, but largely, you still look at Fnatic and say, oh, this is kind of a fractured team, and their pieces are still so much better. There is so much more high class than most of the teams around there. Now you see them going up against Escape Gaming. Michael, I don't even think this was only an overpass. The amount of double kill spray downs that we saw coming through an Ancient where Fnatic just could not trade, where their firepower just wasn't comparable, where, I mean, Blame F is on bottom of the scoreboard when it comes to HLTV rating, even if he's picked up a couple of numbers over there as well. He's supposed to be their linchpin. You can see this team is a mess right now, and maybe it's just this tournament, these few matches, and that's what I'm hoping, because I don't want to be living in a world where Fnatic just completely capitulates as they are on the verge of making a major. But yeah, with boundings like this, it's hard not to say that's happening.
It'll be more excusable if all the strategies all made sense and they were all in the right place and they just simply got outshot and maybe their players didn't show up, but it felt like ESC had the advantage on kind of both fronts.
Yeah, and ESC will take that advantage. They will be moving forward. We will also be moving forward. Remember, guys, there's more Counter-Strike action to be coming over. You can check out the 9 vs. Ho2 game on one of the community streams if you want to, but if you want to come back in here for more action, it's going to be North and South Americas later on. I'm T-Tubbies, Michael Yumi Cassidy. We're signing off from Europe for now. We'll see you guys later on in Twitch chat or on air. We'll find out then.
ESL presents ESL Challenger League in partnership with Intel, Acer Predator, DHL, and Qiddiya.
Damn, guys, we almost had this.
Thank God it's over.
Bored of endless matchmaking? Take your first step towards ECL, experiencing real strategies against teams of your skill. Learn more at fce.gg/ECL.
Sometimes you gotta pray for a victory. Yeah, I'm overzealous when I'm thinking about the cash flow. I never had no handouts, just came natural. I've been tested so much, all these wrestlers nice. All these different situations that I've been through. I seen pain trying to creep in through the window, but now I'm sliding through the hood in a benzo. You gotta separate yourself just to elevate. I keep some drink in my cup to see through the hate. Sometimes on the road to glory, you gotta press the brakes. I got a lesson plan for all my past mistakes. I swear I'm proud of all my best and my worst days. Proud of all my feet when I touch the ground. Front of 8 at Beijing, man, they know the sound. I know I made mistakes, but my mama proud. Fans scream my lyrics out in the background. They ain't know me then, but I'm hot now. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. I'm faced with a lot of different choices these days. Do a rock and roll Lex account of Blueface. The whole world know my name off a mixtape. I still got the same brothers since 6th grade. G-Wagon red seats, we on Biscayne. Trips to the Florida Keys, we imported these. Thanking God for the life he afforded me. All this jewelry on my body, I could like the hood. I need a brown skinned chick just like Megan Good. Holding up every promise that I ever made. Music in the background, it's a serenade. Been rapping 10 years, boy, this ain't a phase. I paid dues, paid rent, and I stayed the same. I had teardrops running down my face. I've been through a lot, I had real pain. But thank God, cause we really on a better days. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. They say life's a gamble, you gotta roll the dice. I risked a lot of different things just to live this life. When you down bad, you gotta pay the price. I've been through hell and back just to live this life. What's a life without sacrifice? Sometimes Sometimes you gotta thank God and just roll the dice. Pacino.